It's very important, it's essential you do so. So please, as soon as you finish, if you go to the reception desk and just indicate against which particular...
Yeah, obviously, yes. We have a number of people in the community, and I must say not just Africans, but from all walks of life in the community being interested in Thurrock African Group and promoting not necessarily the views, but at least promoting the togetherness that we are trying to propagate within Thurrock African Group.
And it seems you've got areas like Chafford Hundred, which have one of the fastest growing black middle classes in Britain. That must only be a good thing for not only unity, but also for the economy.
Definitely, because when you have people moving into a community, you have to sort of think about what good things are they bringing into the community. And I noticed that, I mean, not only that you have people that are very, very hardworking. I mean, obviously there are some few people in any community that are not so. But I can't say that we didn't have. We have a lot of hardworking people that are established their businesses or actually working for government in or private sector in many ways, and and obviously contributing to the economy. I mean, you know, they mostly. Why some people probably rely on social housing, there's some people here who actually are property owners and they pay taxes, contribute immensely to the growth of the community. And what this sort of group is trying to do is that encouraging people to contribute more into the community and also encouraging the service providers to understand the needs of the African community and give them opportunity to actually excel, to actually contribute, to make it a better Thurrock for everybody.
And to let people know what, this afternoon we just had a lovely buffet, and now this afternoon everybody's divided into groups, is that right?
Yes, this afternoon we have 5 different workshops that we want people to participate in. We have, if I can just look one side, we have workshop on health, on business and procurement. We have somebody from the Thurrock Enterprise Agency that will come and speak to people about wanting to start their own businesses and giving them information about how to do that. This is all in trying to build the capacity of Thurrock, African community in Thurrock, so that they can contribute into the economy, really.
When I first was elected, it was overwhelmingly a white constituency. East Londoners who'd moved eastwards, you know, into the LCC estates, getting out of the slums and into new quality housing. And of course the Irish tradition, particularly around Tilbury, where the docks had been cut by the Irish labourers in the 19th century. They became the first dockers, and then you had subsequent waves of Irish immigration over the next 100 years into the Tilbury area. And that stopped in about the 1960s. Since I became a Member of Parliament, there's been really a big growth in migration. We had Bosnians coming from the war-torn Yugoslavia, the Kosovans, and in recent years there's been a growth of high aspirational, often second-generation London Africans, mainly Nigerians, who are in fact contributing to our commerce here, to our public services, and I have to say are providing tremendous role models in many of our schools. They are people who love excellence in sport, are great achievers academically, and I think this is, when it's well managed, this kind of change should be embraced. And it's the tradition of Thurrock, as I indicated earlier. The fact is that we had a century of Irish immigration, and what we must emphasise is that these are people who are contributing an enormous deal to our community. There are a few who are wonderful people, but have come here having endured some of the most appalling persecution, had their loved ones killed in front of them in war-torn areas of the African continent. But there are relatively few, and I do what I can to help them, to embrace them, to champion their rights, And I have had enormous satisfaction that when sometimes the status of these people can be formalised, then they go on to be great workers in our community.
So something like, for example, your relationship, say, on the Foreign Affairs Select Committee, can that help with also your ties with the Thurrock African Group?
Very much so. I recently visited Kenya, which moved me profoundly. I saw some of the success and the failures of what exists in the African continent, and it brought me back here to work with the African community, and particularly the Kenyan community, which we have particularly in the Purfleet area of the borough of Thurrock, to do what we can to draw on the excellence of what is going on in Kenya, and also to try and provide support to those people who are in the huts and villages throughout the continent of Africa suffering serious deprivation. One of the things I've always found in Thurrock, particularly though not exclusively amongst the church groups, is this determination to do what we can to minimise deprivation, to promote aid and development in the continent of Africa, and there's an awful lot of goodwill here. And having seen and witnessed acute deprivation in Kenya, I'm determined to work with groups such as this Thurrock Africa group to play our part in achieving what are rather pompously described as Millennium Goals in Africa, and particularly in those countries of Africa where we now, by definition, have an association with, because so many of their nationals or people who have their roots from here now in Thurrock. And of course, we are now also celebrating that on Tuesday, the next President of the United States, what a very fine man, is going to be a man who finds his roots in the African continent in Kenya, and I think that's quite a milestone. I've been privileged to meet other great leaders from Africa, Nelson Mandela, Kofi Annan, and now a President of the United States, and I think we should celebrate that.